Let's play tag.
Yeah, let's play tag.
No way, it's boring.
Then don't play with us then.
Yeah, don't play with us then.
But I want to play with you.
Well, you can't.
Yeah, you can't.
You're such a crybaby.
Cry,
Baby, cry, baby, cry, baby, cry, baby, cry, baby.
Conflict is a common occurrence in playgrounds all over the country that staff have to deal with on a daily basis. It is generally dealt with using sanctions, but this is not always successful. Inappropriate behaviour at school sometimes leads to offending behaviour outside the school. The Barnet Youth Offending Service realised that it would be better to prevent young people from committing crimes rather than dealing with its consequences.
Well, the Youth Offending Service had initially, during its early years, its focus had mostly been on statutory work, which it was in some cases too late to be very effective. And we're much more concerned now with intervening as early as possible in order to prevent and divert young people away from crime, and teaching them the skills that are part of the restorative justice process. Will leave them not just with the possibility of resolving that particular conflict, but will teach them a valuable life skill for the future, and one that we hope they'll pass on to others, both around them in school and as they grow up they may use in their own relationships and in their own communities.
The Youth Offending Service acquired funding from the Barnet Children's Fund to set up the Restorative Justice Project in primary schools.
Restorative justice is important to the Children's Fund because the aim of the Children's Fund really is around developing preventative services. So that is services that will support children and young people and their families so they don't need more intervention at a later date. So the whole thrust of the Children's Fund is around developing these preventative services, and restorative justice for us highlights really excellent practice in making a difference for children and young people at a very early stage. So by preventing bullying and by encouraging dialogue, it really meets a lot of our aims.
In March 2004, 3 members of staff from 5 primary schools in Barnet were trained in restorative approaches by Belinda Hopkins, who is Director of Transforming Conflict, a Centre for Restorative Justice in Education. These members of staff went back to their schools and have passed on their knowledge to other members of the school team so that the schools have a whole school approach to this initiative. Restorative justice aims to resolve issues of conflict and victimisation affecting pupils' lives at school. This approach considers the views and wishes of all those involved in a dispute or victimising incident and attempts to resolve problems in a calm and positive way, putting right the harm that has been done.
In England, we've been using things like circle time to try and encourage a sense of team building, belonging to the community of the classroom. And that, for me, is a seedbed of restorative skills. Children learn to listen to each other, they learn to see things from a different point of view, they learn to respect viewpoints even though they don't necessarily agree with them. They learn about compassion, they learn about communication skills.
You're the ones to hold it last. Quack, quack. Then for you the game is past and you are out. Quack, quack, quack. Bum, 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 the magic doll goes round and round. Quack, quack. Pass it quickly, you are bound. Quack, quack. If you're the one to hold it
In order to introduce restorative methods to primary school children, the first step was to establish successful circle time exercises. Many of the schools were already using circle time, where children learn to communicate and listen to each other and to hear each other's views.
So welcome everybody to Circle Time. I know you're all familiar with the rules of Circle Time, but I think I'd like to just go over them with you. One of the first things I'd like you to do is make sure you're sitting comfortably, both feet on the floor and your back into the chair and your hands in your lap. I'll go over the rules with you, just quickly. One of the important things, as you know, of being in a circle is that we can all see each other and that we're all equal in the circle. And one of my very favourite rules is this one, listen well. Another one that I think is very important is be kind to one another. So today, we're not going to even use a name, if you can remember that when we come to say anything. Don't use anybody's name. Share and care about each other. So we show concern for anyone who's got a problem or wants to talk about anything. We share and care about each other. Cooperate. Cooperate means to join in the games. Be part of Circle Time. You'll have so much fun if you do. And the last one is be polite. And I think we've got a group of children here that know how to do that very easily. So thank you very much. Now we're going to start with a game. Can you think of a way we could get on better with each other at playtime?
There should have been no fighting. Play games together. Listen to your teachers. Make sure everybody has something to play with.
If you do have a problem at playtime, find somebody that can perhaps listen to both sides of the story and help you walk away happier.
Listen to your friends. If you're with a group of people, make sure that nobody's left.
Let people join in. If you have no friends, go make some new ones. Join in each other's games.
And the rhythm of life is a powerful beat. Puts a tingle in your fingers and a tingle in your feet. Rhythm in the playground, rhythm on the street. Yes, the rhythm of life is a powerful beat. To feel the rhythm of life, to feel the powerful beat, to feel the tingle in your fingers, to feel the tingle in your feet. Go, 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 Daddy, go. Tell them everything.
Carrying on from Circle Time, some of the schools have introduced playground friends or buddies chosen from years 5 and 6. The playground friends have received training in how to engage children in games and activities. These children work in pairs and are on duty in the playground during breaks. Their job is to make sure everyone is included in games and that nobody feels left out. If younger children have problems, they can approach the playground friends for help. They're easily recognizable as they wear bright waistcoats or hats.
They were into the game, they were so,
The biggest group I've ever seen since practice.
I've never had a group that big before.
And you all have seen that they was really enjoying themselves,
they're all
running
really
and
enjoying themselves and having fun. So I hope they'll join us in lunchtime.
It's the best group we've ever had.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Working towards setting up peer mediation, The next step is to teach the children the necessary skills. Peer mediation is where children learn to mediate each other when problems arise. So far, the children have learnt the skills of basic listening and communication. In order to become peer mediators, these abilities have to be taken a step further. One of the methods used is role play, which gives the children the opportunity to explore further and to become aware of each other's thoughts and feelings. This is often taught in PHSE lessons or after-school clubs.
Right, now we're going to do an exercise in listening skills. And for this, I'm going to split you into A's or B's. Okay? A, B, A, B, A, B, A, B, A, B, A, B. A's, I'm going to come round and I'm going to give you an instruction. And B's must not know what this instruction is because it's important. Right, A. You're an A. A's looking. Understand? Just read the instruction and you'll understand the rest in a minute. Right, B's, these are your instructions. You are going to tell A all about what you did at the weekend. Okay? And A, you're going to do what it said on the thing. Okay?
Oh, yeah. I get it now.
Can I see this?
What is it?
On the weekend, Saturday, I did football. There's PlayStation.
Right. So they were told,
As you are not.
A's, you are not at all interested in what your partner has to say. So what they were doing, it was insulting. Did you find it insulting? Yeah. Okay. Michael. Sorry, Michael. People are talking. I can't hear you right here. Michael's talking. Yes, Michael. It was ignorant. Did you feel insulted, Michael? It's okay because you're going to get your own back now. A's, shut your eyes. Right, I'll explain if you don't get it. So if they say I went shopping, you say, yeah, I went shopping too and I spent more money than you and I had a better time. Alright. And if he says he went to play yours is better, bigger. Yep. Right, are we ready? This time, it's A's turn to tell B about their weekend. Okay?
So did I. I got loads of money.
Carry on.
You feel ignored, and like when you're trying to talk, they just ignore you and look away, and they interrupt you, and it doesn't feel nice.
It didn't feel very nice at all. How did it feel for you, Andrew?
When I was talking, she wouldn't stop interrupting, so I just started to do the same thing as her.
And do you think you communicated effectively during that exercise?
Nope.
Okay, this was B's instructions. B's were told to, not only, they were still told to listen to you, but everything that you've done, they've done bigger, better, and more of than you had. So they were interrupting you. Can I ask B's to move their chairs back, please? When we were doing the ignoring you listening and I did better than you listening, how did it make you feel when you were on the receiving end? You were the person who wasn't being listened to. Safia?
Well, I think that if somebody wasn't listening to me, I'd be insulted, because then they might think that you're talking rubbish, and then you'd feel really upset. And it's best just to say, if you can tell they're not listening to you, then you should just tell them that it's obvious that you're not interested.
So do you feel? How does it make you feel though, if they're not interested in what you've got to say?
Well, it makes me feel upset because it's just plain rude to do that to people.
Okay, it's rude, yeah. Terera.
It makes me feel annoyed because everyone deserves the right to be listened to.
When you're trying to talk to someone and they're not listening to you, it's like you're just being ignored and it feels like they don't like you. Left out.
What do you need to do to listen to somebody?
Body language.
What sort of body language?
Like nod and you say when they finish the sentence, say yeah.
So
Like,
when
you
you
sit up and look at the person and you have to understand what they're saying, not just look away and stop biting your fingernails or something.
Right, so
Just
look
concentrate.
interested in the person you're saying. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Concerned.
Concerned.
At the end, you should be convinced that they were listening to you because they should know quite a lot of what you did on the weekend.
So sometimes repeating things back to you might show that they've listened, yeah? What if you're having a conversation with somebody and they start talking about something completely different? Have they been listening?
No. To describe the background to peer mediation, which of course is a restorative justice background. It's about both sides, the harmer and the harmed, hearing each other's stories, understanding how they both feel and exploring what they need to move on. Very simple concept. People are inspired, usually. And so empowerment opportunities like school councils, training youngsters to be mentors, buddying schemes, all that kind of thing. For me, that all gels together into what I call a restorative whole school jigsaw. What delights me going into primary schools is by training young people, I get an opportunity to do what I believe in, which is actually encouraging youngsters to take responsibility for the choices they're making, to give them a say in how things are done.
After weeks of training, the children show their skills in peer mediation at a school assembly. They're now ready to go out into the playground.
Posted that all of Year 6 knew what was involved, so the Year 6 then off somehow talked to the other children in the schools. They knew something was going on. And then by the time it was in place, we had posters, we had the notice board in the hall, and then we did a assembly to the juniors. A lot of the juniors did know already about it, and some of the juniors didn't know about it. But after this assembly, we showed a scenario that would be dealt with the teacher, and then a scenario how it would be dealt with the mediators. And we asked the children to choose which one they prefer, and all the children in the assembly said the mediators. And then we said this is what we'll be putting in place. So it went from a small group of people working on it to then a large group of children, and then now the whole juniors. We worked with all of the Year 6 children for about 6 weeks. Then after that we worked with the mediator group for about another 6 weeks. And we've just spoken to the Year 5 children who will be in place next year as mediators, and they seem really keen and excited about it. But the children that I work with in Year 3 often come to me and say we went to a mediator and this, that and the other, and they say they're happy.
Well, thank you for coming. I'm Yasmin, this is Craig, we're the Barnford School mediators. The rules are, we won't gossip, we won't take sides, and we won't tell you what to do. You won't interrupt, you won't blame it on each other, and we'll try and come up with a solution at the end.
Okay, can you tell me what happened?
Well, I was in a playground and there was a new girl. And she went off with a new girl, and I stayed alone. And I went up to them and I said, can I join in? And I just said no.
So, how were you feeling?
I was feeling a bit left out and lonely.
How are you feeling now?
I'm better, but I'm better. Yeah.
What were you thinking?
I was thinking that I wasn't gonna make friends with Isa again.
And what are you thinking now?
I'm thinking that it's good that I came to mediate.
So what you're saying is that there was a new girl, and when the new girl came to the playground, Isa was still your friend, but then she went off with the new girl, and then when you asked to join in, she said no.
Yeah.
So, what happened?
Well, I was in the playground and then there's this new girl in our class, and she was sitting all alone. So I went over to her and I asked her if she wanted to play with me.
So, what were you thinking?
I was thinking that she was a bit alone.
How were you feeling?
A little bit sad because she didn't have no one to play with.
So, what are you thinking now?
That I know I feel sorry because I went off with the other girl.
And how are you feeling now?
I'm feeling quite happy that we came to mediate.
So you're saying you saw this girl, a new girl, who was really lonely, and you went to play with her, and you didn't let Nicola play, and so
and I didn't realise that Nicola was feeling left out.
And so, what do you think you could do so that this doesn't happen again?
Let me join in the game.
What do you think?
I think that all three of us should play together and not argue.
Do you agree with that?
Yeah.
Could you shake hands, please?
Sorry.
Thank you for coming to mediation.
Thank you. Thanks.
Yeah, and I felt quite confident after weeks of practice. I felt I can go outside in the playground and I can start doing it now.
It was a bit scary at first, but then when I first got into it, it was okay.
It's not as hard as you might think it is, because it's quite easy.
We thought it was going to be hard when we were doing the training, but when it actually comes to it, it's not hard.
It's quite exciting as well.
It's because they take it seriously. If they didn't take it seriously, it's quite hard to do because you have to keep on telling them stuff to not
Stop
do. And you might forget some stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I normally do it to my cousin and her friends which live around with her. And
They don't take it. Some of them don't take it seriously at first because it's your first time doing it at home with them, so they think it's just a laugh. But after a little while, they know that you're serious, because if you're trying to sort out their problems, so you have to really tell them that you're sorting out their problems. So if they don't want to listen, then they're not sorting out their problems.
Done it once with my two brothers because they're always fighting. Now they don't fight that much anymore. Because they got to discuss what problems they had and get out in the open.
What we're moving towards, what that vision is well, for me, speaking just personally, it's a belief, it's a desire to see both young people and the teachers that they're working with, the educationists they're working with, using restorative skills on a day-to-day basis. Now, one way I see that happening is for a curriculum in the school, from infant level through to when young people leave school, involving listening skills, communication skills, conflict management skills, ways of developing self-esteem, cooperation, that kind of thing. Mediation by the end, so that they're able to use those skills with other people and not just themselves. That would be one thing I'm working towards. Another part is to ensure that all the adults in that school community are using the skills, modelling those skills in the way they talk to youngsters, in the way they listen, in the way they help them to resolve their conflicts, in the way that they address classroom issues, sitting in circle, in the way that they manage challenging situations. How are they going to do that? They need to have it in their initial teacher training. So that's another thing we're trying to do, is to try and encourage teacher training colleges to give teachers these skills. For me, they're relationship building skills and relationship repair skills. And at the moment, very few teacher training colleges have it in place, in my experience, meeting and talking to teachers. So, as I say, many more people are working in this way in this country. And I know head teachers who are using these approaches in their schools, transforming their schools, and increasingly talking to people at LEA level who are thinking now of considering, well, what would a local education authority that was totally restorative, what would it look like? What would it be doing? How would it be supporting the schools? Well, that's fantastic.
Yes, it's in very early stages at the moment. I could see that it fitted in exactly with what we needed. We have practiced positive behaviour management over a number of years now, and so the children are used to seeking adult support to sort out problems and or any conflict that they have. But what I wanted to do was to go the step further, where eventually children will seek help from each other, and we will be able to offer training opportunities to children to learn how to mentor each other. And so this restorative justice offers that as part of the plan. So we are now training the whole school staff in about 3 tranches, covering 4 weeks for a group of teachers and teaching assistants, and then the next tranche goes in and so on. The idea is that we embed it first of all with staff and have opportunities to share and discuss the opportunities we have to practice restorative justice strategies with the children, and then the next stage after that I see as starting to train children as well, and asking children if they would like the job as well, so they would interview for a job as a peer mentor.
I'd like to see the programme rolled out to as many professionals as possible, and I'd like to see it offered to every school in the borough ultimately. I think when we took on the project and decided to introduce it to Barnet, we saw it very much as planting a good seed, which we hoped would grow into a tree with roots that spread all over and branches that are reaching out beyond the schools into the communities where the young people live, into their families, their neighbourhoods, and touching all aspects of their lives.
What happened, Chloe? Zoe and that gang wouldn't let me play with them just because I didn't want to play tag. What were you thinking when this was happening? I thought I had no friends. How did you feel? I felt lonely and upset. What happened, Zoe?
Well, Chloe just walked off. She didn't want to play tag.
What were you thinking at the time?
We didn't want to play with her because she's a crybaby.
How do you feel about leaving Chloe out?
Not so good.
What can we do to make this better?
Maybe we can play a game that we can agree on without getting into a fight.
So, Zoe, what can we do to make it better?
We could play tag first and Chloe's game after.
Well done, girls. If you want to, please shake hands.
And the rhythm of life is a powerful beat. Puts a tingle in your fingers and a tingle in your feet. Rhythm in the playground, rhythm in the street. Yes, the rhythm of life is a powerful beat. To feel the rhythm of life, to feel the powerful beat, to feel the tingle in your fingers, to feel the tingle in your feet. Go, go,